Welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie, Texas, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that have made history in our town. Also, some of the people that are just really stirring things up and making history this very day, and not only that, this very minute. And we're so pleased today to have a very special salute, number 643 of our history tapes, for a very special group, and that is for the Grand Prairie Independent School District Foundation. And we have us one of the gurus of the Grand Prairie schools, I'll put it that way, because she has messed around and gotten into every corner of the Grand Prairie ISD and knows everything about everything. And so we're so pleased to have Terry Wilson with us today, and I'd like for you all to meet her. Terry Wilson, welcome to the set.
Hi, Miss Ruthie. Good to see you.
Yes,
always.
We're glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Very glad.
Yes. Well, you look mighty gorgeous today.
Thank you. So do you.
And this is a good spring day.
Right.
And we're going to talk about something that you love and that you have had so much fun with this spring. But before we get into that, could we get into the nitty-gritty of a little bit about the real Terry Wilson?
You sure can.
All right. Tell us about Terry Wilson. Name your parents and where you were born.
I will. I was born at Baylor Hospital in Dallas.
How wonderful.
So I'm a Baylor baby.
Okay, you are.
And my mom worked there as a nurse.
Yes.
And my dad was a computer guy in Dallas.
All right, you'd give us their name and her maiden name.
Don and Ann Wilson, and her maiden name was Lofton. She was a Lofton from Pecan Gap, Texas.
Oh, I love Pecan Gap.
Pecan Gap is a fabulous town.
Yes, it is.
And he was a Wilson from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, my.
His mother was from Bad Axe, Michigan.
North of the Mason-Dixon line.
Absolutely. And his daddy was from County Clare in Ireland.
Oh,
so,
how great.
Absolutely. And I am proud to tell you that I'm a mom of two boys. Both are at the University of North Texas.
Name them.
In Denton, Owen and Greer.
That's good.
And Owen is going to graduate in December. And Greer is finishing his sophomore year this year.
Good.
So Owen plans to do something for the environment in his career. He wants to do something about the environment, maybe environmental ethics.
Yes.
And Greer plans to do something kind of like what his mom does.
I see.
Is what his thinking is right now.
Messing
but it has
around
to
with
involve
the PR.
soccer.
Yeah.
It has to involve soccer
A little
too.
soccer plus.
A little soccer plus.
Okay.
So, and I got to Grand Prairie just as quick as I could, Miss Ruthie.
When did you come to Grand
Prairie?
Prairie?
Great community. This is my 17th month to work here.
Where did you come from?
And I've taught in 5 school districts.
All right.
I've taught in Lancaster, Waxahachie, Arlington, and Irving.
Yes,
And then
You
Grand
surrounded
Prairie is number 5. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit of all of those school districts to get me ready to be here.
All right.
So, yeah.
How did you hear about Grand Prairie?
I had first heard about Grand Prairie actually as a teacher. I was a student at UTA, and our professors would bring us over here, and we did observations, and we happened to observe Nancy Bridges as a class when she was at Crockett as a principal.
Yes, she
and we
was.
would go to her school, and we would learn from Miss Bridges at her school. And then we also observed, I met Bernie Ponzio doing observations when she was teaching PE. So I started in college a long time ago. I'm really old. In fact, I'm almost old enough to go to the new summit, the Senior Lifestyle Center. I'm almost there, Miss Ruthie.
Get ready, get your money ready.
I cannot wait. I've already got it. That's what I want for my birthday.
Okay.
So I first learned about it in college in Grand Prairie a long time ago. Then I learned about Grand Prairie when I went through some reading and writing training when I was in another school district, but our school district we came over here for some training, and I learned about teaching kids how to write, something Grand Prairie does really well, teaching kids how to read, and people from all over the area would come. And I actually did that training at Barbara Bush Elementary School.
Good.
And I nearly came here to teach 4th grade at Barbara Bush Elementary School. And then I met a longtime Grand Prairie administrator and teacher and coach, Bill Crabtree, when he was one of my professors at Texas A&M Commerce
yes.
and at DBU. So
Yeah.
I met Mr. Crabtree, and so I've kind of loosely known of Grand Prairie for many years.
You
and the good
clawed your
people there.
way into this
I have,
business.
and I've always
Yes.
watched Grand Prairie, and I've always had. I just live up the hill in Duncanville, Miss
Yeah,
Ruthie,
uh-huh.
and I've always just had a real high perception of Grand Prairie and what happens for kids here, what happens for the community. I've just always had a real good impression. Something I've known about Grand Prairie for years, which I didn't work here or anything, but I've always known there was a good energy management program in place in the school district about how the taxpayer dollars are saved through the energy management program. And I don't know how I really knew about that, but I've always known about that. I've always known it was a model that other school districts copied, needed to copy, were going to copy. So I've known of Grand Prairie being on the cutting edge.
When did you know about our new superintendent?
I met her when I came here. I met your new superintendent, who really, is she a new superintendent anymore? 3 years. I
No.
guess since some people grow up here, go to school here, graduate, go to college, and come back to work here, I guess she is still new.
She's kind of a little bit
Yes,
new. But
I met
she is a vision of wonderful happenings
She
in Grand
has
Prairie,
really
Texas.
good expectations. She really does for kids. Really good vision for just new
What
things.
is your official title?
I'm the Director of Community Relations, and one of my responsibilities is working with our Education Foundation, which, again, you said the superintendent has a great vision for Grand Prairie, but Grand Prairie has a great vision for Grand Prairie.
Well, now, this is one of my favorite subjects, this foundation.
I know.
Even though I am not involved with the schools to that degree, but having served on the Dallas County School Board, they wouldn't let me serve on that one for 18 years and serve on the Grand Prairie Board at the same time because I had a husband serving on it and a
Right.
son-in-law serving on it
Right.
and all of this good stuff. So
Right.
we're just kind of knitted into the system.
Service is a big part of the fabric of this community.
Yeah.
And this community, it doesn't surprise me that you hired someone with a good vision for schools, because the community has a good vision for itself. And so just like you were an innovator in energy management, or the way that kids learned how to write and read, and so people kind of came, it was like a lighthouse district.
A magnet drawing
A magnet, yeah. Well, you did the same thing, and you were the one who did it, actually, you and Mr. John Wright. And it's probably my favorite thing that I've learned since I've been here, and that is, before any school district in this state had an education foundation, the citizens in this community that are so committed to kids and service, who have that great vision for the community, started a charitable trust in 1970.
Yes.
And that had not been done in this state. Most school districts started their foundations in I can think of one in the Houston area that started in 88, 89. Most started in the 90s.
We
the
were kind of
early 90s.
first, really?
You were the first in the state of Texas. And I've emailed every public school district and asked, do you have a foundation? And what year did you start? Because I don't want to go around saying we're the first if we really weren't.
Yeah.
But we really are the oldest and the first formed. And even though the name changed from the Charitable Trust to the Education Foundation,
Yeah.
that's the vision this community has for greatness, that they had a plan to form it all those years ago. Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
And the fact that John Wright and Frank Robertson
Right.
in the 70s decided that should be it. I think it was just wonderful.
Yeah, and you know, a lot has changed. Some of those old records from the 70s are really funny. People would type their checks,
Yes.
and they would type up and mail formal letters inviting you to a meeting.
Yeah.
And then if you got the letter, I have all these old letters where people would then type up a letter and say, I regret to inform you that due to a scheduling conflict, I won't be able to attend this important meeting. Very formal language,
Yes.
typed, stamped, in an envelope, and the typed checks, and it's just fascinating to me how much from 1970 to 2010 our world has changed. Because now I guess if I was inviting you to something, Miss Ruthie, I might tweet you or hit you on Facebook or send you an email or call you on your cell phone, and you could be at Walmart. And wow, the world has changed a lot in 40 years. And yet the basic vision of the community to do good for kids has stayed constant. And I think that's really neat.
Well, I've looked back through all of my old records to see if I could find a $100 check that I presented to the Grand Prairie ISD several years before John and Frank decided to make this something official. And I've not gone that far back into my records, but I remember giving that to the schools, and I said, y'all start a foundation, because here I was doing something else. I was in the city or doing something else, and it was a good start for me.
Saw the need,
and it picked their minds, because they kept that on record. They kept it in a bank account all of those years and didn't do anything with it till in the 70s when they decided to organize. But I salute both of them, because they gave big bucks.
They did, and we've got a lot of those early records. And people have been generous through the years, generous with their, what I call time,
Graf
treasure,
Chevrolet,
and talent.
I remember gave you.
Absolutely gave.
Yeah.
What a generous man, Stan Graf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What a generous person. The list is just very long.
Yes, it
very
is.
long.
Very, very long.
Of the contributors. So
Yes. Well,
I know your show is called Happened in Grand Prairie, but something happened for Grand Prairie, but not exactly in Grand Prairie.
in Grand Prairie. Well, I noticed that Mr. Wright, John Wright, and I made the
e-report.
The e-report. And we have a.
Do you think everybody knows about the e-report?
I don't know. You might talk about that at the end of the show.
I'd love to make sure everybody knows.
We need to know that, because we recently had a celebration through your schools, and you all called together the ones that began the foundation, or you thought began the foundation.
You and Mr. Wright.
John Wright and I came together, and you made us come to the podium.
I know.
And John made me blow out the 40 candles.
I know.
On a cake. And you know what? I started to bring that cake this morning and to show and tell, and I knew that Mr. Johnson would not let me bring a
food in here. Yeah.
Yes, a cake with candles. It still has the candles on it. Everything is just perfect, and I have frozen it for posterity.
Excellent.
Because the next time we have a foundation meeting, I think we ought to bring that in and add another candle to it and add another candle to it. So I want to thank you for being creative enough to include John and I in the ceremonies that were. Where did we go to celebrate that thing?
Well, we actually, Miss Ruthie, we crossed the Trinity River and went into Dallas.
Oh my.
And we really struggled. Our foundation board, we have a wonderful board.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Who is the
group
president?
Of Grand Prairie citizens. Katrina Jones is the president.
All right.
Buddy Bridges is the vice president.
Okay.
But Bernie Ponzio is the vice president. Sandy Salisbury is the secretary, and Buddy Bridges is the treasurer.
Oh, he's got the money bag.
And
wouldn't you know?
Dr. Carolyn Wicker is a past president, and so is Mr. Bill Crabtree.
Oh, you got him in because he was your friend from the beginning.
Well, he was there when I came.
Yes.
And so the foundation board really struggled with, is it a good idea to have the party outside of Grand Prairie?
Yeah.
We knew we were going to have a big crowd because we had some really great speakers. We were fortunate that Troy Aikman, had you heard of him before, Miss Ruthie?
Yes, I have.
Dallas Cowboy, Troy Aikman.
Yes.
And then the dad of Brad McCoy, Colt McCoy, dad of Colt came. I said that wrong. And Mr. McCoy came. Colt was going to be there, but Colt couldn't come because he was in Cleveland throwing a football as a part of the NFL draft, and then later the next week he got drafted.
But his dad came.
He had such a good message for parents
and
teachers. Both men did. And so we knew we were going to have a big crowd. And last year, Miss Ruthie, we had it at the Grand Prairie high school student activity
Yes,
center. Principal Showell and his staff did such a great job.
Aren't they wonderful?
They are wonderful. Yeah, both of our all three of our high schools, all four of our high schools have great principals. But we had 675 people last year, Miss Ruthie, who came to the banquet. So it was too big to be at Ruthie Jackson, or we would have been right there.
Yeah.
And so then we had to pick where else is big enough, because we thought we'd have 900. And so we really had to work on, and in fact we had to quit accepting reservations. We sold the room out. You saw that by the photos. I brought some pictures. I don't know if we can let people see the pictures.
We'll leave that up to our wonderful producer, Mr. Don Johnson.
Mr. Johnson might throw some pictures up there.
Yes.
So anyway, it was just a great event. Just a lot of really good people came out to support the kids and the teachers in the district.
And I had a building there.
Yes, you did. We went to Eddie Dean's Ranch in downtown Dallas.
Yes.
And they have storefronts like in an old West town. And our technical theater students at Dubisky Career High School redid all the signage. And we had Miss Ruthie's schoolhouse. We had Mayor England's jail. We had Chief Hill.
And the mayor was upset because he got the jail. And he said, and you got the schoolhouse.
And I mean, we really had some fun. We even made an Uptown Theater sign.
Oh, it was great.
Fabulous.
Just fabulous.
And a prairie dining room that just transformed the entire space. And it was a great evening, Miss Ruthie.
And it was good food.
Great food. Everybody has talked about how great that food was. But we didn't leave Grand Prairie lightly. We knew that our business community here, we knew that
we're going to build a better mousetrap real soon.
We've got to have a great mousetrap to put a big party in, because every year then people say, what next?
Yeah.
Who are we going to have? How do we top Roger Staubach? How do we top Troy Aikman? It doesn't always have to be football. Next year, we're really casting a wide net. We have some important people that we're talking to. And so we'll need a place for 1,200 next year.
Yes.
And we don't really have a venue quite those sizes yet, although I'm really looking.
Only one next door at the Cowboy Stadium.
Well, there is that. But we really had a great evening. We raised a lot of money, Miss Ruthie. We were able to give a lot of money in grants. We gave $51,000 in grants to teachers for innovative projects that night alone.
That is so
We'll
good.
give, I think it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of $18,000 in scholarships to seniors next week. On Monday and Tuesday at the senior awards ceremony, we'll be handing out scholarships.
How great.
And then we'll continue to sponsor programs and things that we can't pay for through the regular school budget. The money only goes so far, but we'll be able to extend the money by giving some great resources.
That's wonderful. Who designed the front of your little program that you had?
My good friend, and I think he's your friend too, Steve Adams.
Oh, yes.
Did that program. Isn't it a great cover?
Could you hold that up and maybe we can get a
Steve did the program, and
how gorgeous.
One of the great things, we showed that really awesome video of our 5th graders when they went on a field trip with Roger Staubach.
They did.
Can you imagine being able to go on a field trip with Roger Staubach?
Don't you know they were excited?
Yeah, and he wanted to be at our banquet again this year, and he couldn't be, but he actually had a little back surgery. So we were able to have every person who attend sign a big card. And we got Roger to hold a really big slimy green frog and hang out with kids at the Trinity River Audubon Center.
Yeah.
And so Roger really has continued to support the work we're doing.
And what else are you doing with your funds to send 5th graders to special camps and so forth?
We are really working to help make sure that every student is successful and achieving at the highest level academically. And to do that, we're lining everything that we spend with the things the students are working on in the classroom.
Oh, good.
So we took students this year in 4th and 5th grade to the Trinity River Audubon Center, and we really focused on some earth science texts, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, things that our students really needed to learn and grasp the concept so that they could be successful in future years as they progress through school. And the results are outstanding. The teachers loved it. Our library coordinator, Belinda Jacks, director of libraries, and her librarians, we have the best school librarians, I think, in the state.
They have adopted
They publish
me.
their own books.
They have adopted me in a book.
I know. I mean, they are unbelievable.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, they really are. And so we decided success, they are successful. We're going to align ourselves with success. And so we extended what they did at the Trinity River into the libraries, and librarians had erosion tables and data collection and research going on. The kids really learned. They learned interesting things. Miss Ruthie, did you know that the Trinity River is the largest continuous river in the state of Texas? Did you know that? It goes 700 miles through the state.
And did you know that the city of Grand Prairie has adopted all the way from Arlington line over to Irving line, where we connect between those two, and we have the Lone Star Trail,
I've ridden
along
on
the
it.
Trinity River?
I absolutely have ridden on that trail, which I know you were instrumental in helping bring the whole Spine Trail program. So the Trinity River, the other thing the kids were fascinated with, did you brush your teeth this morning, Miss Ruthie?
Yes.
Yes. Did you know the water you brushed your teeth with comes out of the Trinity River?
It better.
Did you know that over half the homes in this state get their water from the Trinity River?
Mm-hmm.
So we were really able to talk to kids about what happens to the water, why the Trinity is so important, why
And don't throw things in
not
it.
throwing things in it,
Yes.
not dumping things into a creek that flows into the river, how they get the water cleaned up so that we can brush our teeth and drink it. So it's very, very good learning for the students. They learned about geofluvial morphology.
No, I don't
Did
know
you
about
study that
I did
at
not.
Grand Prairie High? as
No,
a
I did
gopher?
not.
Well, see, kids now are learning about geofluvial morphology. They're learning not just about landforms, but they're learning about the impact landforms have on communities and on commerce and on trade. So the kids really had a great experience, and the funding for this, a field trip to take every 4th and 5th grader, that funding, it was just a fabulous way to spend money, because we were able to show children in a real world out in the environment where the river was. They were able to concretely see and grasp the concept, the vocabulary, take on that knowledge. Just a great opportunity for our students.
Why
And
the 4th and 5th grade, why that level of the educational system that you do all these good things, that is really a priority with you, evidently?
it's a priority for every person in the state of Texas that we have good schools.
Yes.
And that we prepare students well for the challenges.
So if you catch them in the 4th and 5th grade,
Yes. And you know, we hear a lot about the TAKS test and the new STAR test.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody kind of has mixed feelings about it. But the blunt fact of the matter is, communities that are able to report that their test scores are great are communities that people want to move to, they want to build, they want to participate in, they want their children to be there. So helping students with the concepts that they'll be tested on for the next 7 years of their life, that's a great thing, because the success of the students equals the success of the community. And in a community that has had a vision for kids for so long, Miss Ruthie, there are so many good organizations, from Lifeline Shelter to Children's First, Kids Incorporated, the council PTAs that you used to be the president of. There are Rotary clubs, Lions clubs, Seroptimus clubs. There are so many people in this community that are serious about supporting kids.
well, now, how did you all get so involved with the Lifeline Shelter when it really came from the Seroptimus and it kind of into the back door?
Well,
and now you all are the movers and shakers with them.
we know that they are helping kids
Yes.
in our schools
Yes.
who are in difficult, children, families that go through difficult times. They are providing essential assistance to them.
I want you to look out into your camera
Okay.
and encourage everyone
I will.
to help in any endeavor that helps boys and girls, because they are your prime investment in your job. And
Right.
and tell me how you got involved with the superintendent now that she's engaged, ready to be married, and you're in charge of one of her luncheons that I got invited to. So
Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting?
level with me. Level with me.
Well, Miss Ruthie, we're fortunate to get to work together and do good things for kids. And I guess my challenge for the people that watch your show regularly, who probably already are members and supporting any number of these great efforts for children, whether it's our education foundation, the PTAs, the booster clubs, whether it's the Kids Incorporated who provide clothing and shoes and winter coats, or the Children's First who provide counseling,
Yes.
Lifeline that helps homeless families get a leg up and get through difficult times, whether it's the Seroptimus, the Rotary, the Lions, providing service to the community in general, volunteering for the park board. I mean, what a great park system we have in
Yes.
Grand Prairie. It's like so many things have come together in just the right way to make it possible for kids to live in a truly fabulous community. And our opportunities to support kids, that's like the icing on the cake in the work I get to do every day. Whether it's coming to the golf tournament in a few weeks, honoring Phil Hart, a Grand Prairie Gopher, and they're providing scholarships to students on golf teams, or attending the Lifeline Shelters luncheon coming up this summer, whether it's participating just by going to eat when Children's First has a dinner at the Texas Roadhouse. Just everybody has to eat with a purpose, raise funds with a purpose, and continue to stay committed to kids and doing great things for kids in Grand Prairie. That's my challenge for all of us. I hear and I know that many people, a topic has been the economy, the down economy, and all I will say is continue to support at whatever level you can. Find that niche and become a part of it. Also, if you want to know more about Grand Prairie ISD, go to the front page of the website at www.gpisd.org and involve yourself by subscribing to a free weekly electronic newsletter called the E-Report. And Miss Ruthie, I'm just lucky I get to work with Sam Buckmeyer every day.
Good.
And Sam Buckmeyer puts together a fabulous E-Report, that electronic newsletter that lets people know we were able to show you blowing out your birthday candles in it. And you can find out the great things that are happening in our schools. Plus, you can find out when a school has to close due to weather, or you can find out if there's an H1N1 situation.
Half minute.
We can tell you lots. And we're looking forward to our new our superintendent's wedding coming up. That's exciting for her, and I know the whole community wishes her the best as she gets ready to say I do. And her daughter's graduating from college this weekend. She's got a lot of big life events.
Yes, she has. I want to thank you for being a busybody in Grand Prairie,
bet.
Texas,
Love
and
it.
especially in the Grand Prairie ISD, and especially for all of the people that you've involved in your conversation. Thank you for being with us today. You've been a godsend to us. Thank you for helping many of us in many ways that you don't even know how. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do, and that we document it as correctly as possible. And thank you for watching our show, and God bless America and Grand Prairie.